Meet our pirate. He has just robbed the richest ship on the ocean. His hold is stuffed with silk, silver, and enough gemstones to make a king nervous. He is, by every measure, filthy rich. There is only one small problem. He cannot spend a single coin of it. Because stolen silk is not money. It is just very fancy laundry with a criminal backstory. Our pirate is standing on a floating warehouse, technically a millionaire, practically unable to buy a sandwich. And this is the joke history forgot to tell you. The scariest man in the golden age of piracy was never the one with the sword. It was the polite gentleman on shore with a ledger, a quill, and absolutely no intention of asking where the silk came from. Today we follow the money. Spoiler, it does not go to the guy who did the stabbing. Here is the setup. Colonial trade laws in the late 1600s were a nightmare. Everything had to sail to England first, get taxed, get inspected, then sail all the way back. A simple roll of silk could take months and cost a fortune. So when a pirate showed up offering the exact same silk, tax-free, no paperwork, at a discount, the honest colonial merchant had a very difficult moral decision to make. He made it in about 4 seconds. These buyers had a name. They were called receivers, which is a very fancy legal word for a person who buys stolen stuff and pretends not to notice. And these were not shady men in alleys. They were respectable. They sat on councils. They went to church. They owned the nicest houses in town. Some entire ports basically ran on this. Rhode Island had such a reputation that Navy officers openly complained about it, and everyone in Rhode Island responded by looking at the ceiling and whistling. The receiver had 3 jobs. Buy the loot cheap because the pirate had nowhere else to go. Fake the paperwork so the silk suddenly looked like it came from a totally normal, definitely real voyage. And stay friendly with whichever official was in charge of noticing crimes. Do all 3 and a stolen bolt of silk could be sitting innocently on a shop shelf within months, its violent past completely erased. Money laundering, except the money was made of curtains. Now for our 2 stars. First, Adam Baldridge. He fled Jamaica after a small misunderstanding involving a murder accusation and set up a fortified trading post on an island near Madagascar. Perfect spot, right on the pirate highway. Pirates would roll in, sell their loot, buy food and gunpowder, and roll back out. But Baldridge needed a supplier. Which brings us to star number 2, Frederick Phillips, the richest merchant in New York and, delightfully, a sitting member of the Governor's Council. So we have a man who makes the laws quietly funding a man who breaks them. Between the 1690s, Phillips shipped supplies out to Baldridge and got shiploads of pirate loot back. And this is not a legend. We have their actual letters. Baldridge basically writing, "Business is great, send more rum." The whole thing had protection at the very top because the governor of New York, Benjamin Fletcher, was famously happy to accept gifts from pirate-friendly men. And by gifts, we mean at one point an entire ship. Fletcher took the ship, smiled, and continued to be shocked that piracy existed in his colony. Eventually, London noticed and fired him. Phillips, however, faced basically nothing. His pirate-funded fortune helped build one of the biggest estates in colonial New York, and his family name ended up stamped on the map for generations. Crime does not pay, except when it very obviously does. But here is the twist history loves. The receivers could also stab you in the back, financially speaking. Enter Henry Every. In 1695, he captured a Mughal treasure ship so rich that every crewman instantly became wealthier than they could count. Then came the annoying part. Turning a pile of stolen diamonds into money you can actually use, while the entire English-speaking world is hunting you. Every sailed to the Bahamas, where the governor Nicholas Trott happily took bribes for shelter, and then, when the manhunt got serious, tipped Every off so he could run. A governor protecting a wanted pirate because the bribe was simply better than the salary. Then Every, according to the oldest accounts, tried to sell his diamonds to merchants in Bristol. And those respectable merchants looked at this desperate, wanted criminal, realized he could not exactly file a complaint, and paid him a fraction of what the gems were worth. Possibly nothing at all. One of the most successful pirates in history, outrobbed by a bunch of men in nice coats holding pens. And he could do nothing, because the moment he complained, he would be arrested. The pirate had all the danger and none of the leverage. The merchant had all the leverage and none of the danger. That, right there, is the entire business model. So how did the Golden Age actually end? Everyone loves to say it was brave Navy ships and better patrols. And sure, that helped. But the real reason is much less heroic. The market closed. London finally started going after the buyers, not just the pirates. Governors got fired. New laws made it a crime to knowingly buy or profit from pirate goods, which meant the comfy merchant in his warehouse suddenly faced the same rope as the man who did the actual raiding. And just like that, buying stolen silk stopped being clever business and started being a personal risk. So the merchants did what merchants always do. They shrugged, closed the ledger, and moved on to safer ways of getting rich. The pirates kept getting caught and hanged. The merchants kept their fortunes and their good names. And here is the uncomfortable little thought to leave you with. Every great pirate story ends with a raid, a treasure, a black flag in the wind. But somebody was always waiting on shore to buy it. He never swung a sword. He never got caught. And he almost always walked away richer than the pirate. So next time the movie shows you the villain, maybe check who is standing quietly behind him, holding a pen.